Page restrictions are a great way to control which people or teams can access specific pages in Confluence. As you know, Confluence already comes with the ability to restrict access to individual pages. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you can automatically control user access to pages based on the classification level that's been set on that page. This is a great way of aligning Confluence page access to your data protection policies and ensuring only the right people have access to certain types of information. But before we jump in, the setup and management of page restrictions in compliance for Confluence is only accessible to Confluence admins, so everything you see from this point onwards is from the admin perspective. And with that being said, let's get started. In this example, we're going to focus on setting the access restrictions for pages set as highly restricted. And as expected, any page that is classified at this level is likely to have information that is sensitive and should not be accessible to most employees in the organization. By using the restrictions feature in compliance for Confluence, we're going to restrict access to these pages to the management team only. So first we need to start off by accessing compliance, so we'll go through the apps menu at the top and then into compliance. Next, we'll need to go into the settings, which is only accessible to admins. And then finally into restriction schemes, and this is where we can start configuring user access. So for this example, we're going to be using the default restriction scheme across all of our pages and spaces. So I'll need to click into the actions on the right hand side here, and then click onto set restrictions to begin customizing them. And this is the place where we can start customizing the page access based on the different classification levels that we're using. You'll also notice on this page you can set the type of permission that you'll be giving users or groups, whether you give them view access only, or whether you want them to also have edit permissions on the page. Now, before I start customizing restrictions, there's one important point. The users and groups fields that you see here will automatically pull from your Confluence Active Directory. So you don't need to recreate these within the compliance app. You just type in the name of the user or the name of your Confluence group and it will appear. Now, I want to give my management team view and edit access, so we'll add them into the highly restricted group here. If I wish, I could add other users to the highly restricted level. And on this page, I can also customize which users or groups have access to the other classification levels, such as restricted, internal, public, etc. I'm not going to go into it in this example, but if I wanted to give people view-only permissions, then I'd repeat the same process here under the view-only permissions section. So I could give specific users or groups view-only access to those pages. So once we're done, click Save. It'll ask if we want to update existing pages. So if you have pages on your Confluence instance that are already classified as highly restricted, by checking this box, this will change the permission on those pages to match what we just configured in these settings. So I'll go ahead, click Update, and compliance will start processing that in the background. If you have a lot of pages, it might take a few minutes to complete, but in most cases it will be done very quickly. So the restriction schemes have been set. And the last thing I need to do is just to make sure that they have been applied to our Confluence instance. So in this video, I'm going to be using the same restriction scheme across everything. And so we'll go into the scope settings here and make sure that Manage Globally is enabled. We'll apply the correct level scheme and we'll make sure the default restriction scheme is applied and it's also enabled. And that's all set up and it's ready to go. So the last thing I need to do is just go to a page and show you this in action. We'll go to a page in the human resources space, so we'll go with disciplinary records. When I click into this page, we can see this is classified as internal and there's no page permissions applied here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to highly restricted. The page has refreshed, the classification level has changed, the padlock has gone red. If I click into this now, I can see the different permissions that have been applied. And what we can see here is that the management team have been added to the page. Everyone has no access, so the wider Confluence community has no access to this page. And I was part of the management team, so I've also been given access to the page here. So the permissions have updated accordingly. And there we have it. That's a quick run through of the page access restrictions feature in compliance for Confluence. If you're new to compliance and considering trying it out, you can get a free 30-day trial on the Atlassian Marketplace by following the link in the video description below. And just remember, we're here to help you get the most out of compliance. So if you want to learn more about any of the features in the product, be sure to check out our user guides by following the link that's displayed on the screen now. Or if you have any questions, just send an email to support@hatfox.io and one of our customer support team will be happy to help.